Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Masterclass Episode 6, a show where we play, we strategize, and we explore the world of Hearthstone. With me, as always, is my co-host, Tarn. Tarn, how are you doing this fine evening?
I'm doing fantastic. Had a great day, had a great evening, and even looking forward to an excellent show. We have a fantastic show lined up tonight.
Wonderful. Yeah, yes we do. We are pleased to announce our special guest tonight is Doa himself. He's known for being a StarCraft 2 and League of Legends caster. He founded iHearthU with Artosis, where he writes articles, hosts Turn 2, and casts the Hearthstone King of the Hill each week. He's well known in the community, and we are incredibly fortunate to have him joining us today on Masterclass. Doa, thank you so much for being here. I want to say first, I really appreciate you having me on Turn 2 last week, and we are incredibly excited to have you joining us tonight on Masterclass. How are you?
And I'm excited to be here. I really like the show, and it's going to be fun to play some games and talk about some games and just kind of talk about Hearthstone.
Yeah, absolutely. How was your weekend?
It was good. It was. I didn't get to play as much Hearthstone as I wanted to, but it was fun, nice and relaxing.
Yeah, absolutely. So as we continue the intros, usually on Masterclass we like to start it off with sort of a quick warm-up game akin to speed chess, just to loosen it up a little bit. It's basically like a lightning round without a lot of thinking, but you're welcome to talk smack or whatever like that. So I will just,
Okay.
yeah, it's not required, but you're more than welcome to. So.
All right. I don't know. I hesitate to talk smack because I don't know if I can back it up, but we'll see. What am I supposed to play with?
Oh,
whatever you
that's
like.
all that's important. That's all that's important.
Yeah.
He'll crumble. He'll
Uh,
crumble.
Absolutely.
all right.
So
I don't know. Let's see.
well, yeah, I'll let you pick your deck and you can move on from there.
Decisions. Well, I'll go with something that's still. I'm kind of working on it, but I don't know if it'll work or not. We'll see.
Cool. Well, yeah, this is just to have some fun and enjoy.
No, but
So what have you thought of the
Look at all
new?
those shaman decks.
So what have you thought of
Shaman versus Shaman.
the ladder since the reboot? What have you been seeing these days? What do you think of it?
I like it a lot, but it seems harder this time around. I think a lot of the people that are playing have had a chance to sort of develop. They've had a chance to sort of get a sense from the top players of what decks are good right now, and so on the ladder right now, it's kind of, I feel like it's a little bit coin flippy. It's harder to keep winning streaks going because there's so many extreme counters out there. You know,
Sure.
there's lots of aggro warlock and there's lots of aggro mage, but there's also still lots of druid and paladin. There's just like a little bit of everything right now, so it's kind of hard to sort of, I guess, keep up with what people are going to play, or kind of like anticipate what people are going to play.
Yeah, I see.
It's
I
not bad.
agree. I'm running into some wonky stuff here and there, but overall it does seem a little bit harder. But I had a good day grinding through. What about you, Tarn?
Yeah, it's been good. I echo that sentiment exactly. I've been slowly leveling up, but it wasn't like the super fast level up of Season 1.
Yeah.
It's been more of a grind through each of the levels. And by your reaction, I think you just got smacked down. So
Oh my
that's
god!
what's important.
I just got a turn 3
It's a fun deck.
Stoneclaw into
Oh.
Rockbiter into
You were going down.
into Wind Fury. Oh, this is great. I love it. Oh my goodness gracious. This is
This deck is
awesome.
kind of crazy. I don't
Yeah.
know,
Oh yeah.
I'm like, this deck is just sort of a test of like how aggro can shamans possibly be. So I don't know. I don't think I'd ever claim it's like a good deck yet, but it can be okay. I don't know. We'll see. I feel like it's got potential, but I have no idea where this deck is going.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, that
it's.
aggro, go away.
I think it's aggro. I think I can agree with you on that.
It's certainly very aggro, yes. Don't want any of that Nat Pagel stuff going on.
Hey, come on.
see.
What did Nat Pagel ever do to you?
He's, well, it's for your own good, right? I mean, if those fish are from the Pacific, there's all this, like, radiation right now, apparently, that people are worried about. So,
yeah.
If you don't eat those fish, you'll be healthier, apparently, because of it.
Yeah. Well.
I just don't know. I hope I get some more use out of my 0-2 Taunting Totem with Wind Fury.
You must cleanse the Sunwell.
Let's see.
Oh, it's
there we
waiting.
go. Nat Pagel strikes back. I'm waiting to see what's happening. I'm a little bit delayed. Lightning Bolt on the Leper Gnome again. Ouch. That's my second Leper Gnome. I have no more Leper Gnomes.
Yeah, you are out of the Leper Gnomes. You're gonna have to go to another colony and find a few.
It's true. Let me see. Let's just go ahead and... what am I gonna do? Just not sure how aggro I want to be.
It's whatever you want, man. It's whatever world you want to live in.
Yeah. That's the thing. I don't know what world I want to live in. Let's see. All right, why not? I'm just gonna go all out. We're just gonna go.
Oh my god.
Insane with this here.
Oh my god. Oh jeez.
I love it because I get to hear the reactions and then see it. So this is working out.
Yeah, I just got Leroy.
We'll see what happens. I'm sure this will end up going horribly eventually, but. Oh yeah, there we go. I was waiting for that one. There's the lightning storm. That 1/4 Nat Pagel, man, he's scary.
No, baby. 2-5.
Very concerned.
2-5 Nat Pagel.
Howdy.
Oh snap! Nat Pagel's getting out of control.
Yeah, I had a 2-5 Nat Pagel that I faceless manipulated against somebody and had 2 of them drawing cards, and he just walked away.
Wow.
But
He
that
swag walked right out of there, huh?
yeah, but that Nat Pagel was not
Let's
silenced.
see.
So yeah, I'm legitimately at 12 health. Ooh. I hate that card when someone else plays it.
I know. I'm out of cards though. I don't have any draw this game.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I've run out of momentum. Like I pretty much am sure that you're gonna be able to kill anything I put out from this turn on.
I hope so.
Let's see. Ah yes, there's the Rock Party weapon, so that will be no problem at all. Nat Pagel remains. Alright, let's see. So now I'm in pretty big trouble. There's some things I could get lucky with, but we'll see.
Yeah, I would imagine you have some
Things are not looking good for me right now.
charge and rush minions coming my way.
I hope you like my
I've certainly got ways to win this game.
Getting a novice there is really nice though. Getting that card draw.
It's not bad.
Oh god. Oh jeez. Oh jeez.
Alright.
Wow.
See what
Wowzers.
happens. I feel, you know, I don't feel too super confident, but I feel okay.
Howdy.
Uh-huh.
I have methods. I have ways of winning this game.
Yeah, I would agree
I just
with
don't
that.
know if they'll happen.
Oh,
But I don't know. This deck, like, it's just so unstable. It's very streaky. But I just keep trying. Like, I like Shaman, and I like the burst that Shaman can have through Rockbiter Weapon, through Wind Fury, through Doomhammer, through Charge, Bloodlust. Like, there's a lot of cool stuff that Shaman can do. But I haven't quite found like a good way to do it aggro. The problem is that like everything Shaman can do with aggro,
Yeah.
like Mage can do better.
Yeah.
Usually.
Or
That's
Warlock,
kind of
right?
the issue.
Mage or Warlock can do better.
Yeah, exactly. Mage or Warlock, yeah, especially.
Oh no.
Give me a card. Give me a card, Nat Pagel.
No.
Yes, thank you, Nat Pagel.
Oh god. So you like the fisherman, you just don't like my fisherman. That's what you're telling me.
I don't like him over there.
Not cool,
He's got
man.
double Nat Pagel out there. There we go. He's gonna die. I'm not gonna get any more draws from here.
No, not cool with that Nat
I
Pagel.
should be pretty. Nat Pagel just killed Nat Pagel, man. That's That's not right. That's against the laws of the universe or something right there.
It's rare. It is definitely rare.
I think I'm pretty dead unless some very specific things happen in my next turn.
If you're running a lava burst, that's GG.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping for, but I'm not gonna get it, I guess. Yeah, that's
Golden
that's
Doomhammer.
Dead.
You're going out in style.
There. I'll give Nat Peg a win fury just to kind of like complete the the Nat Peggle story.
it was.
There we go. Alright,
Well,
it was close at least.
Well played, well played.
It looks like Kobe takes the game as usual, but as usual, I don't know how he's doing in the talking category. I think that fishing comment was enough for the win. I think the warm up has been tipped. Score doesn't matter.
Yes, agreed.
Just needed that lava burst and it didn't come.
Yeah.
Oh,
No.
well.
So you run 2 lava bursts in that deck?
Let me see. No, actually I'm running right now. I should run 2 though. I actually should run 2. I think I'm
definitely
gonna
run
actually take out my... Yeah. I'm still working on this deck quite a bit. I also need to like adjust the amount of silence in that deck too.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah.
It's fun. It's fun either way. So.
Yeah, no, it did look like a fun deck, and certainly if I didn't have a few cards early on and get the critical Lightning Storm, it would have been GG way earlier. Way earlier.
Like Lightning Storm and Consecrate are like the 2 best cards against that deck, hands down.
Yeah.
Like I can usually beat Paladin if they don't Consecrate, but
And the deck
now, actually the thing is that the deck is really it's tough to win with, especially now with Wild Pyromancers. So it's just not a good deck right now, but it's fun to play. So
yeah,
so
your
keep
deck
it around.
Runs right up against like what I'm used to dealing with. That my deck is like geared to beat. So I think it's kind of a mismatch in a way in that regard.
A little bit.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. So
Yeah, it's a fun game.
Yeah, it was fun. So got the warm up going. So as we move on to the next segment, we're going to be looking at we're taking our sort of customs with analysis segment, and we're using that format as a backdrop to discuss a few matchups. The first matchup we'll be starting off with will be the Druid versus Mage matchup, looking at Strife Crow's Druid deck, which is sort of popular in the meta, as well as talking about the strategy of his deck behind it, and Tarn and I, as well as Doa, will kind of discuss this as Tarn and I play a customs match in the background. And again, it's not that we'll necessarily finish the match or what have you, but basically we will be having this as a backdrop. So as we start off, I'm going to switch to the Druid overlay. So now Tarn's on the top and I'm on the bottom. And you can see the deck list up there. You can kind of go over it very quickly. 2 Innervates, Claw, 2 Wrath, Blood Mage, Nat Pagel, 2 Novice Engineers, 2 Pyros, 2 Earthen Ring Farseers, 2 Golems, 2 Swipe, 2 Defenders of Argus, 2 Keepers, Starfall, 2 Druid, Sylvanas, an Argent Commander in place of I think it was. Yeah, he only has 1 Starfall. Sorry, 1 Starfall, not 2.
Okay,
excuse me.
I was gonna say.
And I have an
Two's
Argent.
Kind of surprising, all right.
Yeah, and I have an Argent in there instead of Karn Bloodhoof, and then Black Knight, 2 Ancient of Lores, and Cenarius. So Doa.
So,
go ahead. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, please.
I was just gonna ask why the Argent Commander and not Karn Bloodhoof, because the Argent, does he really fit with the theme? I mean, it's a great card, but like, does it fit with the theme of this deck as well as like Karn Bloodhoof would? Because
it doesn't go
I
as
really
well.
like running Karn Bloodhoof in Druid, but
yeah, it doesn't go as well. I don't have that card, and I read on his description of it that's what he would substitute if you don't have that legendary. So it's not as good.
Yeah,
but
I'd agree. Yeah, if you don't have it, then I think that's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, so we can. So
yeah, I did a similar experiment. Not having the card, I tried Hogger in this place.
Yeah.
And it was kind of interesting. I've since then also removed Hogger, just because it wasn't quite. I was looking for something strong within a similar cost value. In some games it would really work out, but unfortunately Hogger just still wasn't cutting it for me in the deck either.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
So we're going to talk a little bit about the early game. Oh, go ahead, please.
Oh, it's okay. I think Uvu's causing a bit of a delay, but yeah, no. Augur is okay, but he's too low health for the mana that he costs. That's, I think, my biggest problem with him. But...
Yeah, that's a good point. So starting off with the early game, Druid versus Mage. Talking a little bit about the matchup and seeing the potential mulligan cards here. What do you think is important in terms of what you want to keep, what your overall game plan is, and how you want to approach as a Druid going up against a Mage?
Versus Mage, I think I would definitely throw back Cenarius and Argent Commander. I would, since you're going second, see, here's one thing I've been trying to experiment with lately. I've been doing things like keeping swipe if I get the coin, because then you can get, like turn 3. You can get a little bit quicker if you need to.
Sure.
And as far as Blood Mage Thalnos goes, I would probably throw him back. Sometimes he's worth keeping for the swipe, but against Mage, there's just not going to be a lot of minions to deal with.
Sure.
So I think it's going to be fine to throw back Cenarius, Blood Mage, and Argent Commander. But since you're going second, I would keep swipe. That's how I'd handle that anyway.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with that. Tarn, what's your feeling on that?
Absolutely. I think that would be exactly what I would keep. You have the early swipe, but again, you're not going to be facing that many minions, and you don't necessarily have enough turns to wait for, quote unquote, the more value swipe, the Blood Mage and swipe combo.
Yeah.
You may not be able to wait, long enough to play that combination. And it looks like, as a result, you got a much stronger earlier hand. Innervate, Nat Pagal, and
Novice.
a Novice.
Oh, yeah, man.
Yeah.
So that is looking, in my opinion, really strong for an opener for you.
Yeah, I agree. So talking about early game moves, Doa, what do you feel like you'd want to do? Do you want to get out the Pagal with the coin? Do you want to double, Innervate with the Novice? How aggressive with the card draw do you want to get early game? Or do you want to save the Innervate?
I would just coin out Nat Pagal. I would just coin out Nat Pagal and then go from there, because there's not a lot mages can do against a 0/4 on their second turn, I guess it would be.
Sure.
So, in fact, there's nothing they can do as far as I can think of. No, nothing. So yeah, I would just coin out Nat Pagal and then just kind of leave it at that, because you're going to be kind of playing responsive, until you get to that 5 mana, 6 mana turn when you can start playing Druids of the Claw and stuff like that, and start getting stuff on the board that's ideally too big for the mage to deal with without using some of their big nuke spells like fireballs that they'd rather use on you. Right. So yeah, I would just coin out Nat Pagal and then see what happens after that. And I always like to save the Novice Engineers as long as I possibly can. They're so much better late game than early game.
Oh, really? That's interesting. So tell me, let me just mention one thing real quick before we go into that, because I'm really curious. I got a Wrath, which would give me the opportunity to kill his Mana Worm and certainly prevent any kind of buffing of it. So I think that's a solid move. If you agree, I'll just move on, but I'd love to hear about this keeping the Novices, and if that's just a Druid thing or just in general that you like to do.
I think it's just in general. My stream's kind of lagging. Like I said, Twitch has been a nightmare for me lately, but I'm refreshing it so I can catch up. But yeah, I would definitely Wrath that Mana Worm, absolutely. Cool. But let's see, as far as the Engineers go, I like to keep them later. And in this deck, let me see. Are you okay? So I run a couple Loot Hoarders in my deck as well, and the thing to keep in mind is that on low mana turns, it's not too important to get that draw right away, because you're not going to be able to play it anyway. Sure. And the 1/2 on the board isn't going to make that big a difference. You kind of have to judge the situation, of course. I mean, if you're going to really benefit from having a 1/2 out on the board, then definitely play it. But otherwise, it's a really good way to just get that extra draw, late game, and then have that around, say, to pair with a Defender of Argus or something like that. A 2/3 taunt is really nice to have.
That's interesting.
So I think it's always better to save Novice Engineers if you can.
Yeah, I like your thinking. I've always thought of it. Okay, please. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah. One other thing, especially with Druid, is that it's going to be nearly always more beneficial to just use your hero ability and do 1 damage to something right away than put out the Novice Engineer that you can't use the 1 attack on, and you won't be able to use the card of draws right away anyway. Sure. So for Druid specifically, the hero power is nearly always going to be better early on the Novice Engineer.
So, yeah, that's a good point. I'll jump back to the Novice Engineers, what I was going to say later. Moving on to this scenario. So you've got a situation where I could innervate out a swipe, doing some damage and clearing the board on one hand, but it would still leave the Engineers. But I'm not in any real threat at the moment, so it does seem like perhaps this might be an opportunity to either consider bringing out the Farseer or bringing out, maybe with an Innervate, another option. It doesn't seem like there's a straightforward answer right now, though.
Yeah, I don't think I would do the swipe.
Yeah.
Let's see. It wouldn't hurt to get out the Earthen Ring Farseer, because I mean that's going to put his Mana Worm under threat, and it's going to maybe force a Frostbolt out from him. You've only got 28 health, so you'd be wasting 1 health there, I guess. But it's, I think if you really want something on the board, that would be okay. Otherwise, I mean, you could play a Novice Engineer this turn too.
Yeah.
And since you're going to have 4 mana for swipe next turn, you could go really crazy if you wanted to, and Novice into Innervate, Earthen Ring Farseer, and then the next turn you could choose whether or not you wanted to Defender of Argus or swipe. That would actually give you some decent options, and because you've got a second Novice, you know that you're going to be able to still have decent draw as well. Yeah. It kind of depends on your play style. I mean,
yeah,
I like to be, really aggro, so I'd be curious about just playing as much as I could and seeing what happens. But
yeah, I'm gonna do that.
It might be better to save it too.
I like it. I'm gonna give it. And I drew Sylvanas, which is nice. So I'm gonna play that Earthen Ring Farseer, and I like the board flood, and I like the possibilities with Defender next turn or swipe, depending on what's coming out. I think even if it's not optimal, it's definitely a good path to go down. So I think that'll be fun to try it out.
It also protects Nat Pagel as well too.
Yeah, which has not been drawing cards, by the way. Nat, get back on that boat and start fishing.
Hey, he got one.
He got one. Okay. 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 Now we got a bunch of mirror.
I'm seeing your move now. My stream's like way behind. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. We'll try to kind of describe it as we go. It's just sort of something we're used to with Twitch. So he brought out two 0/2 mirror images, and he took out my Nat Pagel with the Mana Worm and the Novice Engineers. So I do have an opportunity to put down the Defender of Argus, which would allow me to clear the mirror images, but it wouldn't get rid of the scarier minions on board. I do feel like a swipe would work really well here, because then I would clear most of the board and keep the Novice Engineers at 1 health.
Yeah, I think that would probably be okay. My stream's so way behind, so it's like tough for me to say because I'm trying to visualize everything you're saying. But
yeah,
I think a swipe would be okay. And then you could also, because you're getting into like the 5 or 6 mana turns, so you'll be able to like play a card and then use your hero ability to like take out the 1 health minions over time.
Sure.
So it's not bad. Yeah, it's definitely not bad. I'd be a little bit worried about the secret because it's probably going to be ice block in like this day and age, right? But you never know when it's going to be like counterspell or something too. So
yeah, also
I'd say I'd probably go for the swipe myself.
I know that Tarn tends to play a card with the secret that's different, but I can't play knowing what I know his deck is because I don't think that's fair. So I'm gonna play the swipe. And
yeah, I would definitely try to swipe the Mana Worm at least.
Yeah, and that's fine. It worked out. So
If you're sure.
that felt like a solid turn. The board it looks a lot more favorable. He could have to trade both engineers to get my engineer, or engineer and use his hero power, which is all good things. So while we're going through the game, if you want to talk a little about what you want in the mid game and what you want to be looking for towards the late game as a Druid versus a Mage, I'm curious what your thoughts are.
Well, I mean, you'll probably want to be getting the Defender of Argus out there, not necessarily to block things, but just to make it a little bit stronger of a board position for you, so that you can start to hopefully put some damage onto the Mage itself. Sylvanas generally isn't that useful in this matchup because there's not going to be a lot of creatures for her to grab after she dies, but if you're lucky she can pull out some direct damage spells that would have been otherwise used on you
Yeah.
And it's really good that you've got an Ancient of Lore in your hand right now, because the heal from that is so important to have against the aggro mage that's going around right now. A lot of people make a mistake and use the draw with the Ancient of Lore, but the healing is nearly always going to be better. In fact, a lot of times I save my Ancient of Lore until I need the heal. I don't usually draw with it.
Versus Mage, right? Always,
So
basically.
we'll see what happens.
Just in the Mage matchup, right? The healing.
Super
I prefer
super
to
aggro
save.
matchups.
I actually, yeah. I mean, there's so much aggro right now anyway, and I really like saving it for the heal either way.
Okay.
Because when you get to this point in the game, a lot of times you normally have big enough creatures on the board that it takes some multiple turns to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like you need to have as aggressive drawing as you would in different decks.
Mm-hmm.
So I think most often you should be using Ancient of Lore for the heal,
Okay.
and not for the card draw. But there's various situations that you'll run into where, you know, the draw will be better. You know, if you have a ton of life left, like you're still 29 health. So
Sure.
if it gets to that point in the game and you haven't lost a lot yet, then you may just want to go ahead and use the draw. But especially against Mage, I would consider playing everything else you can first and saving it in case you need the heal. Because, like, he fireballs you, and then you play Ancient of Lore, and you've basically negated the fireball, and you have a 5/5. That's huge against Mage. So.
Sure. So here's one thing that I always find myself. I've got an Engineer and a Golem, and that'll be mana efficient to bring them out. And I could trade my current Engineer on board with the Loot Hoarder. That's usually the play I'll do, and then next turn I'll Argus the new Engineer and the Golem. But there's also something to be said for bringing out the Defender of Argus now, and when I hit the Loot Hoarder, my Engineer will survive. I tend to go for the prior play. What do you think? Which would you prefer?
What to do?
Actually, with 5 mana, what I would be tempted to do is either, well, there's one of two things. One of the plays, this one I probably wouldn't do, but you could just play Sylvanas to get a 5/5 out there and make him deal with it, and then trade your Engineer for his Loot Hoarder. But what I kind of like, actually, is playing the Harvest Golem and then using your hero ability to get rid of the Loot Hoarder and then attacking with the 1/2.
Yeah.
Because then you're only going to take 1 damage from his Loot Hoarder. You're going to keep a guy on the board, and you're going to get your 2/3 out there, which is really nice.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you're not going to find a lot of turns after this turn to get the what's it called? The Harvest Golem out conveniently. So I think I'd actually go for Harvest Golem and hero ability.
Yeah, I followed through that. Once you kind of started to talk about the alternate option, it just became really clear that that is a really solid and probably the most solid option. And again, it follows with that idea you were talking about earlier of keeping those Novice Engineers for those moments where you need card draw and they're kind of filling out the mana usage. I think that's really good insight.
Yeah. I think a good rule of thumb, especially when you're playing a Druid deck like this, is to try to play as few cards as possible every turn, unless you have a really good reason to. Like if you want to flood the board with minions and you have an opportunity to do that in a way that you think is going to be safe against what they're going to do next turn, then I think that's fine. But I think with Druid, you should try to use your hero ability as much as possible.
Yeah. And then use
And
the
avoid
ancient
playing things if you don't need to.
and then use the Ancient of Lore to recoup the health, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because that's so much more card efficient than trading your actual minions for their minions.
So I've got an opportunity here to bring out the Defender of Argus on my minions, clear the Cold Light Oracle, and even use my hero ability to add a little extra damage on there. I think that seems to follow with what we were talking about. I did draw.
To, like, catch up to where you're at.
What I have is a Swipe and a Druid of the Claw, and he has a 2/2 on board. So I could bring out a Druid of the Claw, but
okay.
I think I'm going to get a lot of value out of the Defender. You playing him now?
Yeah, I think so too. The one thing to keep in mind though is that nobody's really running Flame Strike right now, and so that means that you don't really need to worry about having that Druid of the Claw with charge. And I think you'll want to DPS down the Mage as fast as you can, really. Because the longer the game goes on, the more he'll be able to chip away at you and kind of build up that handful of direct damage spells. So the Defender is okay. I mean, it's not a bad play, but I would I would personally go for the more aggressive move and just put out the 4/4 with charge this turn, and then maybe trade your Golem for his 2/2. And well, you wouldn't have to trade your Golem; he'd be at 2/1, and then probably get hero ability by the Mage next turn. But that's okay.
I like it
because the thing is, if you can play Defender onto the Druid of the Claw next turn, then that makes that Druid of the Claw like even better, right?
Yeah. No, I mean I like it. I see what you're saying. There wasn't a threat on board. Thinking about the AoE damage he could do, it's going to be a smaller number than Flame Strike theoretically. Yeah, no, I mean it's some good. I mean he can always. He has opportunities to kill it, but I can see why this would be difficult for him. It's a really interesting play. I'm learning a lot, so this is great.
The thing is like this. The weird thing about playing Druid is that and maybe one of the cool things about playing Druid, especially if this is like the Strife Pro type, Druid deck, is that you can play it in sort of a control way, but it really works well played aggressively too. So it's a deck that can be played with multiple different styles effectively, which is why I really like it. Like the Strife Pro Druid deck is my favorite deck in the game right now.
Alright, so I'm going to... I brought out the Defender. I'm going to Claw so I can get rid of one of those guys. And I've got 2 mana left, so I think I'm going to bring out the Novice as well. Just kind of finish off the board.
I hope you like my invention.
Let's see. Yeah, sure. That's fine. It'd probably be a good turn soon for your Ancient of Lore as well.
Yeah.
Since he did a little bit of damage to you and you can get the full heal effect.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's just more for him to deal with on the board.
What's your cutoff?
So yeah, you're starting to get a pretty scary board.
Yeah. Where do you want to not be below? Like, when do you start to think Ancient of Lore? In the 20s? Like, in the low 20s, you start to think Ancient of Lore?
I pretty much say, usually if you can, use it as soon as you can get the full heal effect from it.
Okay.
Because it's just so nice to have a 5/5 out on the board. And this type of Mage deck, if he's running the type of Mage deck I think he is, he's not going to have any AoE at all, actually. So you're actually in a great position in this game right now.
No, he's got the Blizzard. But that's fine. I think...
Oh, okay, so he's running Blizzard. Alright, so it's a little bit different. Yeah.
Yeah, but
well, the nice thing is that you're going to start to put out a lot of creatures that ideally will have too much health to AoE down conveniently.
Yes. Yes and yes. Yeah, he did isolate.
It doesn't sound like I'm interrupting you constantly on the VOD.
No, you're not. No, I'm realizing kind of the delay-ish, so I'm kind of giving you a little bit of extra time on each end. So no, it's fine from where I'm coming from. So I think it'll probably be fine for the stream. This might have been a little bit of interrupting. So he ice-lanced to finish off my Druid of the Claw. So at this point,
yeah, okay.
I think you're right. I think bringing out the Ancient of Lore is a good idea. The only other option would be to clear his board. He's got a Sorcerer's Apprentice, so I have an opportunity to Wrath it. So
yeah, I think Wrath would not be a bad idea there. Let's see, what else do you have?
Well, if I'm gonna Wrath, I probably...
You're still 23 health effectively.
Yeah.
I would actually Wrath that because I really am uncomfortable about having that out on the board. Okay. And then you can still play stuff like Sylvanas or Black Knight even, because you're not going to really need to get rid of Taunters now that his mirror images are gone, which is kind of funny to think about.
Yeah.
But so that's a way you could get rid of his ability to cast more spells, and also have a 5/5 on the board. And since you're reducing the amount of spells he can theoretically cast next turn, it's almost like giving yourself more effective health. So,
okay, I like it.
I'd probably go for that just because it.
And you like Sylvanas over Black Knight? I thought you had mentioned Black Knight. Yeah.
If you want to make your turn efficient and just use all your mana, you could just toss out Black Knight. Either one is fine.
Yeah. The other option I was thinking about was using... Go ahead, Tarn. Yeah, please.
Oh, I was just going to say, yeah, overall, this is looking really good for you. Really strong. You've survived now 8 full turns. You've technically got more health than the Mage. and you have the board presence, which is just great, and you have the heal in hand. So all of those things have lined up, really, really well for you.
Yeah. I definitely...
One cool thing, too, is that...
Go ahead.
Sorry.
No, please.
One cool thing, too, is that... Alright. You'll have the opportunity next turn, if you don't take a lot of damage this turn, to play Cenarius with his give everything else +2/+2. So that means you'd have a 5/3 defender and a 6/7 Black Knight. So that's really scary for a mage to deal with. And since he's drawing cards, I'm seeing him drawing cards on my screen right now. I'm guessing your turn 9 might actually be best served going for... oh yeah, you drew another Ancient of Lore. So I would go for Cenarius with the +2 abilities.
But he did get rid of one of my minions on board.
Oh no, he killed one. Okay, never mind. Alright, then I wouldn't do that, yeah. I would probably go, let's see, 9 mana.
I can do the Keeper of the Grove to kill the thing on board, and then bring out the Earthen Ring Farseer, and heal myself up a little bit, and then I'll have 2 extra mana to just sort of like shield up and attack in with everything.
Yeah, I think that's fine. Otherwise, you can just go Keeper of Grove into Sylvanas as well.
Oh yeah.
And then that would mean you'd have 1 less armor, but it would also mean you'd have a 5/5 on the board instead of a 3/3.
Yeah, I think that's fine. I think Sylvanas in this scenario is brutal, so I think that's a good play.
Yeah. I think you want to try to you want to be starting to think about finishing the game now. Because you've gotten a really good control of the game. Now you just want to start to close it out.
Yeah. I've got the deck and I've played it on ladder a bit, but certainly not this way, and probably not even against the mage a lot. So it's really, it's a lot of really good insight into sort of the mindset and how the beginning, the middle, and the end will play themselves out. And
I've been playing mostly Druid for the last few weeks. A little bit of Warlock, but a lot of Druid.
Yeah.
I love it. It's so much fun.
So he did get me down to 10 hit points with a Frostbolt and a Pyro, so I think I have to Ancient of Lore and continue to restore health the next few turns.
Yeah, you can Ancient of Lore into Earthen Ring Farseer and get 8 health back.
Yeah.
And then you can use your Keeper to kill his 3/2 and then still hit him for 9, so that's a okay turn.
Okay. I like that's an understatement, but yes, definitely. Yeah, that's great.
It's a great turn, yeah. It'll get 8 health back, so.
Yeah.
Hopefully that's enough to survive.
What are you talking about? It's the worst thing ever.
Tarn's, I can tell Tarn thinks that's a horrible turn.
The real issue is, like, can you live through all the infinite ice blocks, right? Well, I guess there's 2 of them, but
yep.
Hopefully you'll be able to pop his first ice block next turn.
Yeah.
I think you should be able to.
I think so too.
Yeah, you could probably, yeah. And then you definitely want to save that swipe for a finishing blow, because even though it's extremely unlikely, you never know when he's going to clear your board and put out a taunter. So yeah, I always try to save the direct damage if I can.
Absolutely. So he got me
Unless
down.
I absolutely need it.
Yeah, he got me down to 11 health, and so I'm gonna, clear his board, remove all the minions, get rid of the ice block, and give myself an additional 5 health with the Ancient Allure.
Yeah, and if you have enough to use your hero ability, that's good too, because 1 armor might make the difference against a mage. It always comes down to it against a lot of mages, I think.
Sure.
It always gets close. But usually with the healing, you cannot last him. And see, this is why it's generally better against mage to use the heal with the Ancient of Lore rather than the card draw.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? Actually, I made a mistake. I attacked with... I should have attacked with a 3 minion to get him down to 1 hit point. That was my mistake.
Oh. Yeah, that's right. But that's okay, because I think he's at 4 on your screen right now.
Yeah.
So the thing is if you pop the ice block or whatever, you can still kill him with swipe. So
yeah,
4 health is okay in this situation for him to be at. But
for
yeah,
sure.
Generally you want people to get as low as possible before you pop the ice block.
Yeah, wasn't optimal, but definitely overall the right direction for sure. Very cool.
So we'll see if he plays the second ice block. He probably has it in his hand by now.
Oh, there we go.
Maybe.
Maybe. Maybe. And 3 more damage.
Statistically, it's a pretty good opportunity.
And 4 more damage. Down to 8. So he definitely has the opportunity to finish me off here.
Yeah, you could still die. He's probably got a second Power Blast. You're probably dead, actually. That's just what playing against Mage is about sometimes.
Yeah.
Field for 13 this game, and it's still not enough.
Yeah. I will armor up, though. And I guess I'll play the Argent, because having something on board is fine. So,
yeah, otherwise you could just buff everything up with Nereus and make it look cool.
I didn't have the mana after I gave myself the +1.
Oh, armor up. Oh yeah. Well, I mean, if you're sub 10 health, it doesn't really matter. But at this point in the game, it doesn't matter what gets played. It's like either he has the Pyroblast or he doesn't.
1 out of 3 cards remaining.
So good. No way, really? Oh wow.
no,
Bad luck for Tarn.
Wow.
It's okay. That's my typical. That's my typical RNG there. But it was actually really well played. Losing to a mage in a scenario like that after you played super strong is always frustrating. So it is nice when the Druid can at least still pull the win off.
So moving forward, we're going to go into the next segment, which is the little guest interview. We've kind of warmed up, played some games together, and one of my favorite shows, Inside the Actor's Studio, has a questionnaire at the end, and they ask every guest the same questions. And over the course of the show of years, you get to hear really interesting people kind of answer questions. And I made a gamer version of this questionnaire. And Doa being our first guest, you get to be the first person to answer it. So going to switch up the overlay. And first question is, what is your favorite video game system or console?
I guess I can't say PC because that's that's technically not a video game console. So I will say Super Nintendo.
Super Nintendo. Okay,
my
great.
All-time favorite.
And going along that theme, what's your favorite classic game?
I guess you could call Chrono Trigger a classic game now. So I guess I'll say that it's my favorite game of all time. But
Chrono Trigger.
If we want to, I feel like when people think about classic game, they don't think about like JRPGs as much. So I'm gonna say Super Mario Brothers 3 is just one of my all-time favorite classic games. It's just like a game that will never be unfun to play ever.
Chrono Trigger, Super Mario 3, those are good. So correct me if I'm wrong. Is Super Mario 3 the game that was in the end of The Wizard, the movie The Wizard?
Yes, actually, that's right. It was. That was like their big tournament-ending game, where it's like this new, never-before-seen game. It's Mario Brothers 3.
Yeah. Oh God,
that's right.
That was a big deal. I remember that when that movie.
It was the best 90-minute commercial.
Yeah. And that kid, like Luke or something, had the like power glove. Oh my God, I remember that movie. That was so great. Oh,
that's right.
Mario 3. Well, I
haven't seen that forever.
I definitely bought that game because of that movie, so it worked, and I love that game. That's one of my favorites of all time.
Wow.
All right. So, what is your least favorite level or boss in a game?
Oh, let's see. Least favorite level or boss? Man, there's so many. I think for least favorite level, the one that jumps out almost immediately is the water temple in Ocarina of Time.
Okay.
On Nintendo 64. That was just extremely annoying and frustrating. I'm sure a lot of people can agree with that. And most annoying boss, you said too?
Sure. Oh yeah, least favorite boss. Oh yeah, either or, yeah.
Least favorite boss. Okay. Least favorite boss. Let's see. I don't know. There's never. I'm trying to think of a boss that's just genuinely annoying to play against. Some of the, I think some of the Donkey Kong Country bosses are kind of annoying because it's just kind of repeating the same action over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
It's just you have to do it like a little bit faster each time. So I think those bosses, some of the ones in like Donkey Kong Country 2 and 3 were kind of annoying because they were a bit repetitive.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess without naming anything specifically, I'll name like various bosses from the Donkey Kong Country series.
Perfect. Yeah, that's great. I can sympathize with the level. I didn't play Ocarina of Time, but I didn't like any of the water levels in most of the Nintendo games that I played. So I totally sympathize with that. Cool. So what character, video game character in video game lore, turns you on creatively or spiritually or emotionally? What character turns you on?
Let's see. I don't know. I really, I'm going to be talking a lot about Chrono Trigger, but that's just how I am.
Sure.
Like, it's just my favorite game. But
Absolutely.
I mean, Chrono, the main character in Chrono Trigger, I mean, he doesn't say a single line of dialogue through the entire game, but he's like willing to just like immediately jump into this, you know, time warp after like this girl he just met gets sucked in to try to go save her and all that. And, you know, it's just like, he's always very selfless and always willing to like jump in and sacrifice himself for his friends and all that and like help people. So I feel like even though he never says anything in the game, he's a very inspirational character in that he's always willing to, you know, jump in and help at great personal peril to himself.
Cool. Yeah, that's fun. I haven't played the game, but I'm definitely going to check it out.
I wouldn't say he turns me on.
Well, does the girl turn you on?
Of course, they all do.
All of them. Nice. Okay. Then same question. What turns you off in a game or creatively, spiritually? What turns you off?
I think right now, I think what turns me off a lot in games is it seems like there's not a lot of effort put into storytelling. And I'm not saying there ever really was. I'm not saying that like the 90s or the early 2000s were like some golden age for game storytelling, but
Sure.
I do feel like a lot of games that come out right now focus more on you know, the overall, you know, the look, the graphics, the pageantry, the sort of I think it's got like Hollywood, you know, summer blockbuster syndrome, right, where it's meant to they focus more on the spectacle rather than on the storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there are definite exceptions to that. Like BioShock Infinite was absolutely amazing and had a great story. But there's a lot of other games right now that I play like, you know, an hour of, 2 hours of, and I just get bored with it. You know, it doesn't matter like how good it looks or how the gameplay is if the story just doesn't compel me to kind of go farther. Like I play a lot of video games, but I mostly play competitive games. And if I'm playing a single player game, it's always going to be up against whatever book I'm reading right now, and it's really hard for a lot of single-player games right now to pull me away from whatever, you know, book I'm reading. So
Sure.
if a game can do that, then it's probably got a pretty good storyline.
Cool. What sound effect or phrase do you love?
I love the sound that Mario makes, or really like a block makes when he hits it and a coin pops out. Definitely my all-time favorite gaming sound.
That's great.
Cha-ching.
Yeah. Ding, ding, ding. What sound effect or phrase do you hate?
Let's see. I think probably one of my least favorite ones was anything Imoen says in the original Baldur's Gate for PC.
Okay.
Very annoying character.
Okay.
As far as
Yeah.
sound effects go, I think the crying sound that Baby Mario makes in Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island on Super Nintendo
Nice.
was probably one of the most annoying sounds in all of video game history. So I think those two things, yeah.
That's
Tom
great.
knows what I'm talking about, I think.
That's great.
Absolutely. That's a great call. I wasn't even thinking of that off the top of my head. Nice. I might have to put that at the top of my list now too.
That's really great. So I think I might know that. I might know the answer of this next question because of what we talked about earlier, but I'll just ask it anyway. What character would you like to be?
All right. What character would I like to be? I don't know. I think if I had to pick like what character I'd like to actually be, I'd pick the Master Chief from Halo because he's like a superhuman and he's got like the Mjolnir armor and a bunch of weapons and can like fly all over the universe and stuff. So
okay,
I think like as far as what I'd want to be, definitely Master Chief.
Cool. All right, good answer. What character would you not like to be?
Not like to be. I wouldn't want to be. I think there's so many characters I wouldn't want to be. Most of them are like menial, like minions in various platformers. Like I wouldn't want to be Goomba, you know. And I wouldn't want to be like one of those dudes in Zelda that's job is to just stand there and wait for Link to hit him with his sword. But I don't know. I think if I had to like pick a famous character that I wouldn't really want to be, probably I wouldn't want to be Sonic the Hedgehog because I'd probably get pretty nauseous and I hate running. So that's my all-time least favorite.
Very practical.
I'd want to be in a video game.
Very practical. Great. And two more questions. This one is one I did not change from the original questionnaire because I like it so much. What is your favorite curse word?
Okay. My favorite curse word?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, let's see. I don't know. I mean, they all have their uses.
Mm-hmm.
I think, and I don't curse that much anyway, because the reason it's not that I'm against it or that I'm offended by it, but I studied communication, interpersonal communication in school, and I've studied it a lot since then. And I feel like generally swearing and cursing kind of like slows down the point you're trying to get across. I think it's certainly got a place in expressing your emotional state, but a lot of times it just kind of hampers what you're trying to communicate to the other person. So I just don't curse a lot, honestly.
So you don't have a favorite curse word?
I don't know. I think I don't really have a favorite, but if I had to pick one, I think like you can get a lot more comedic value out of fuck than any other curse word. So I'll just pick with that.
Okay.
So, there you go.
Fuck's a good one. And the last question is, if heaven exists...
It's the funniest.
Yeah. If heaven exists, what games would you like to have waiting for you when you arrive at the pearly gates?
I think that's an easy one. I think definitely Chrono Trigger, man. I mean... I've played through it at least once a year since 1995 when it came out, and I don't know, it's an awesome game. There's so much to do in it. It's got 13 endings.
Wow.
So that should take a little while, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. That's easy. Chrono Trigger.
Chrono Trigger. Cool. Awesome.
Plus games.
Fantastic. So for the last segment of the show, we're gonna do just a quick heads up, me versus you, whatever decks we want, have some fun with it.
Okay.
And you can either minimize the stream or whatever you want to do because instead of analysis and going through it.
I already turned it off.
Cool. Great. And and then after that we'll just.
I can't watch it anyway, so it's
useless.
I will go with the Druid this time.
Okay. I since we talked about.
I'll credit to. I'll credit to Strife Pro for designing this awesome deck, and if I lose with it, it's because I'm not as good as he is, and not because the deck's bad.
Yeah, and Strife Crow is he's solid. That deck is it's a good looking deck, and I've watched him stream. It's pretty incredible. So Tarn, you're our spectator now, as opposed to last time when Doa was. So any thoughts on the matchup? Other than that, I'm gonna get my butt kicked.
No, it's a really fun matchup. I've been messing around with the Druid a lot on the ladder, and I don't run into too many shamans, but when I do, they're almost always pretty fun games, win or lose. I think the matchup allows for a lot of different variants even with the different styles of Druid and the different styles of Shaman. So I'm just excited to see this match because I think it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, I'm in bad shape. This is not a good start for me. This is
Oh, was that an innervate? It was. Oh, I love it.
Yeah, I was
so
able
good.
to innervate out a Golem. That's always a pretty good strong start.
Yeah, it's strong. It's even strong. It's a strong start, but my start is even weaker than how strong your start is. This is pretty rough, but it'll be good. It'll be a good learning experience for me.
Oh, you're gonna learn. Oh,
Alright, we'll see. We'll see how things go. It's kind of control versus control, so it's probably going to come down to the late game. But we'll see.
If I make it there.
The light protects me.
If you make it there.
Oh, if you're sure.
There's that aggressive play. I like it.
I am trying to be aggressive, yeah. How aggressive do I really want to be?
I don't know. It's a good question.
What to do?
Do you like to
Try this.
play with fire?
This is looking aggressive.
Yeah. I'm not sure if that was the best play I could have done, but it clears the board.
Yeah.
Kind of wasted a mana. I don't really like that. But
It might not be
wanted to-
ideal, but it
I
certainly
want to try
doesn't
it out.
hurt.
I want to see what happens.
Job's done.
I think it's okay. Let's see.
I have no time
Let's
for
undo this.
games.
Alright.
Well, yeah.
This okay. Or the.
What does he have? I actually don't really like my position in this game right now. Not very much. But we'll see. I feel like I'm kind of losing control of it. But I haven't seen what the rest of your turn is yet. I got a 5/5, so that's nice.
Yeah, I really love it when the Tink makes a 1/1. It's just so much nicer, but I'll take a 5/5. It's still better than stealing one of my minions.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
If I'd gotten that 1/1, this would be a whole new ball game.
I hope you like my invention.
Alright.
My shield for Argus.
Let's see.
To go for the face or not to go for the face?
Mm-hmm.
So is this deck that you're currently playing? It looks like it. Pretty much exactly that deck list that was posted, the Strife Pro deck list, or have you made any further modifications to it?
I haven't really changed it. I haven't played a lot, but it's just so solid that I've just been playing this. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
What to do?
That's
I think it's really good.
pretty much what I've been playing for the last week and just having a blast with it. With, of course, the absent Karn Bloodhoof, which hurts to not have. But even without him, it's been really strong.
Yeah. Yeah, the current Bloodhoof is really, really nice to have with this. But if you don't have him, I think the Argent Commander is a perfectly fine choice. Yeah, this isn't going too well for me at the moment. There's a lot of cards that like are in this deck, but I don't know where they are right now. I think I've actually already lost the game.
No, I only have 2 cards left in my
Faceless
hand.
Manipulator really helped out.
Yeah.
Let's see. That is true. That's true, I guess.
It's just not. You have 28 health to my 18. It's.
None.
Oh well. Well now.
Yeah, it's fine.
Well now you're fine. Yeah. That's brutal.
Well, I only have a 4/5 out, and I know you've got Alakir in that deck, so I'm like, I hate using that guy in Alakir. Or I'm not Alakir, I guess.
I'm not Alakir.
Oh,
Yeah.
see? There's a Defender of Argus. You can one-shot my 4/5.
No.
But yeah, you're right that the draw might be a little bit of a problem for you later. Alright, let's see.
I'm not getting. I'm kind of in need of a couple cards that I don't have. So yeah, I'm in a tough spot. I feel like usually in this scenario I lose a majority of the time. So I feel like I'm a little behind.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Black Knight really was perfect. It was really a perfect spot for you.
Where shall I strike?
Looky.
No, the reason I went for charge there is because I feel like I'm worried about the chance that you'll have Hex and just be able to get around it. I felt like there's too much direct damage and stuff in your deck for me to count on my 4/6 taunt surviving until the next turn.
Yeah.
So I wanted to make sure I got rid of your 5/3.
Elements guide me.
Things pretty much turned out like I expected, so that's okay.
Take heart.
Oh jeez. Oh jeez.
My eyes are open.
Alright. So I haven't like drawn any spells this game, like that Wrath was it.
Yeah.
It's kind
That
of
is
weird.
true.
Yeah. I haven't drawn any real drawing either. I had the one Gnomish Engineer. So it's kind of a weird game. But
Yeah,
I
it's
think
weird.
late
I've had.
game- yeah.
I was just gonna say I've had. Doesn't happen often with this deck, but I have had the occasion where it's just like, you know, there's so many spells in there, and they're all like the last 10 cards in the deck.
Yeah, I hear ya.
This is looking tough for me. This is looking real tough. That Karn and that Bane.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm actually gonna do this. I know I said usually you're supposed to use it for the heal, but I'm actually gonna do it for the draw this time.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the right move. You got that.
I think this is a situation where I can get away with it.
Yep. Totally.
Yeah. And I'm still okay taking 6 damage. I didn't draw a lot of spells, but I drew a lot of healing, which is strange. But I think that just shows how good
Protects me.
this deck is too, is that it can work with so many different hand combinations. And again, like I really have to credit Strife Crow for making. I personally think this is the best deck that's been made in Hearthstone yet.
Yeah. It's pretty strong. And
IMO, yep.
It's versatile. I think it's really versatile.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
I have not drawn a single hex
Let's
in my
see.
whole deck. Not one hex.
Oh, that sucks.
Versus Druid, it's definitely not fun.
I must safeguard the land.
Yeah.
My shield for Argus.
Oh no, what? Whoa, what the heck? On my screen, my Argent Commander ended up to the left of my stuff, but it still gave it taunt. So
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with this one. A little bit odd.
Oh, the good old floating minion bug.
Yeah, I have no idea what position my minions are in, but at least they both got taunt.
Yep.
That's reassuring.
they're technically in the position that you thought they should be, if that makes any sense. They're in the position that they should be, even though they don't look at it. Because I've made that mistake, and then on the next turn just played with what the board looks like, and they swap back real quick, and then like give the buff or whatnot, and so they're
yeah,
It's over.
they are where they should be,
Yep.
but they don't look like it.
This game is
That's good.
over. Well played, sir. Well played.
yes, well played, man.
I must safeguard the land.
Okay, barely enough. There we go.
Dude.
I was really worried about that start, but I guess the hand size ended up coming in handy there. No
Absolutely.
pun intended, but I'm glad I got a win. That's good. Hooray.
Woohoo! Nicely done. Nicely done. That was
Again, great deck, Strife Crow.
Yeah. Credit to Strife Crow. Well, fantastic. This has been a lot of fun as we close out the show. It's been a long show. It's been a great one. We got a lot of good content in here, and I really appreciate you coming on, Doa. This has really been exciting, and you're first guest on Masterclass, so thank you so much for being that first guest and opening up the floodgates for many more, and we'd also love to have you back anytime.
Awesome. Yeah, I'd love to be back sometime, and I had a lot of fun. Thanks for inviting me. Looking forward to watching more episodes on iHeartU.com.
That's right.
Yeah.
And as you mentioned that, are there any shout-outs, anything you want to mention before I throw it to Tarn, my co-host?
I guess just make sure that you watch my stuff on OGN, on OnGameNet, doing League of Legends right now. We're getting towards the finals of the tournament, so things are getting really exciting. But the fourth place match is on Wednesday, which is the 15th this week. And so that'll be a really cool one, so definitely watch that. And if you've never watched LoL before, it's worth checking out. And I guess keep watching OGN because we will have Hearthstone content at some point, but can't really say too much more about that at this point, but it's coming.
Cool. And you can find Doa at GGDoa on Twitter, right?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Right, that's right.
And Tarn, is there anything you'd like to finish up or say to our guest, host, or to any of the people watching?
Nothing much more to add, except, of course, just another huge thank you to Doa for coming on. It's a fantastic show. Just, great way to open up our guest content with such a great guest. And again, thank you for coming on. And looking forward to all the shows in the future. And I was keeping my mouth a little bit quiet tonight, so I hopefully don't get fired. But I'm looking forward to next week. See you guys next week.
Absolutely, yeah. Once again, you can find us. You can find Tarn at Tarn33, and I'm Kobayashi Maru on Twitch and on Twitter as well, Kobayashi Maru. And this video will be posted on iHeartU in the next few days, where you can find tons of great content, articles, videos, Turn 2, the King of the Hill series, and then that will also link to my YouTube, CNEGRIN, which is where episode 6, as well as all the other episodes of Masterclass, will be in the past and future. So, last thank you one more time, Doa. Really great having you on. It was a lot of fun and really excited we can make it work. And thank you all for watching, and we will see you next week. Anybody mind if I roll need?